again had a very busy year. These are but some of the successes achieved. We were able to secure £82,500 of grant funding to support our customers with direct cash payments. These were issued to customers with the least energy efficient homes, and they were to help with ongoing fuel bills and other household essentials. During the year, we had set aside a £60,000 at Trust Hardship Fund, and we used all of that to support customers from a wide geography across Trust and also different types of homes. The fund was accessed via our frontline customer partners and was essential to help for people struggling to keep up with rent payments or prioritising paying their rent and having trouble buying other household items. We increased our welfare benefits team from 2 people to 3, and we were able to support really high referral demands for this service. The team were able to ensure our customers maximise their income and get all the assistance they're entitled to, and the amount gained for customers through the year as a whole was a staggering £2.7 million. We were also able to access £120,000 of funding for, and then to distribute, many energy reducing household appliances, and that included air fryers, slow cookers, heated blankets and high top duvets to help our customers keep warm and reduce their fuel bills. These items were very much welcomed by our customers, and we received lots of really strong feedback on the important difference they made, and it was just under 1,300 households that benefited from these. Our next slide is just a happy little picture of tenants at one of our later living developments receiving their winter duvets. So to move on to performance, although last year was a challenging one for everybody, we nevertheless demonstrated resilience in high levels of service we were able to maintain for customers. As ever, our annual performance report will be published in October this year, but I can share with you now some of the metrics that we know mean the most to our customers. And just in saying that, I'd like to pay tribute to our colleagues who work at Trust, both at the front line and office space, because without their contribution, this level of service wouldn't be possible. So this year we've noted 2.8 hours on average to complete emergency repairs, and that's really quite a significant improvement. Last year we were sitting at 3.7. For non-emergency repairs, 5.7 days on average to complete, and importantly 91.6% of our repairs were completed right first time. 2.2% of gross rent arrears of rent due. This is a really outstanding performance given the cost of living crisis, and it's a far better result than is achieved by most Scottish landlords. In terms of homes becoming empty, 12.9% of our homes became vacant in the year. On average, it took 85 days to let an empty home. It's always a particular challenge for us in our later living developments, but the sector as a whole has seen increasing lengths in average days to let. 4% of rent was lost due to empty homes, and importantly we completed 225 medical adaptations. As well as protecting services for customers, we continue to deliver our business strategy, The Time Is Now. An important part of that is our ongoing digital transformation. Over the past year, we replaced 2 outdated legacy systems which were based on our premises, old-fashioned server rooms, with new cloud-based solutions which will support a modern service delivery and more efficient and cost-effective processes. We implemented our new housing management system called Rubix, with the first phase going live in June of last year, 23, and that covered 1,000 properties, and the full business successfully transitioned to Rubix in February 2024. The implementation of Rubix provides the foundations for delivering a range of online services to our customers, and we'll be launching the first of these very soon. In addition, we began the implementation of a new modern people management system, People XD, which supports the transformation of our employee processes and experiences. The initial phase covered workforce management, which was then followed by our recruitment module. And just by way of a reminder, Trust employs 700 colleagues across the organisation, but not all of them are full-time. At Trust, our people are our greatest asset, and we're very proud to be an Investors in People Platinum employer and aim to attract, develop, retain and support every one of our employees to be the best they can be. We're targeting for a 10 out of 10 employee experience, which in turn helps deliver our aim of providing 10 out of 10 customer experiences. During 23-24, we completed our first employee engagement survey since before the pandemic. Almost 300 employees took part, with 80% of respondents saying they were very happy and satisfied with their experience of working for Trust. We then worked with our employee forum and other wider audiences to analyse the results and agree and take action based on the 5 opportunity areas that we had identified. Actions were then implemented, and I'm pleased to share that on our second employee engagement survey, the results of which are hot off the press, we have seen even stronger results in various elements of people satisfaction. In March 2024, we were delighted to become a Fair Work First employer. This has not only enabled us to meet the Scottish Government's requirements for grant funding, but has provided the opportunity for us to align our employee engagement survey actions with Fair Work First requirements to demonstrate how our culture and values are at the heart of who we are. We now pay all employees at least the real living wage, and we've reinforced our commitment to flexible working by extending the right to make a flexible working request from day one of employment. And our commitment to Fair Work First ensures an important and ongoing role for our employee forum, which consists of 12 employee representatives from across Trust. Finally, a key principle of Fair Work First is investment in workforce development, an area where we have always been proactive, but much of our training is now completed via LearnPro, which is our online platform, and our focus now is on further developing our approach to talent and succession planning across Trust. I want to close with a thank you to our really fantastic board who provide so much skill and inspiration. I speak for myself, but I know for the wider executive team as well. They ensure that even in challenging times, we're not only delivering great service today, but we're continually developing Trust for a bright and successful long-term future. Finally, let me share some images that reflect that during our 2023-24 year, Trust had our 50th birthday. The actual month of the birthday was October last year. And I remember at our AGM last year, we shared some of the early images of our celebrations in various locations. This one just shows that the parties went on. So my thanks to all for a brilliant first 50 years of Trust. Here's to more great things in the future. Thank you, and I'll hand back to our chair.
Thank you, Rona. Now we turn to the formalities for the AGM, and our first item is apologies. Annette.
Yes, so we've received 37 apologies and 12 proxies for the meeting today.
Thank you. Next item is the approval of the minutes from last year's AGM held on 21st September 2023. Ahead of this meeting today, these were circulated for review by members. I would therefore ask for any additions or corrections to the minutes from members who are at last year's AGM. Are there any such corrections or amendments people think that is needed? I'll take it silence means everybody's happy. So, somebody wish to speak? Okay, can I now ask that the minutes are to be adopted as a true record of last year's AGM and that these be proposed and seconded by members who attended last year? Do I have a proposer?
Oh, yeah, thank you, Paul. That's Paul in the boardroom.
And do I have a seconder?
Oh, yeah, thank you. That's Mary as well. I'll note them down. Thanks.
Thank you. So now I'll move on to the next item, which is my own report. This is my second year as chairman of Trust, and once again it's been a busy and challenging year. I'm sure we would all have wanted a more encouraging economic environment in which to do our very best for our customers and continue to deliver our strategy. But tough times makes the role of the Trust Board even more important. Our focus has been, again, as always, to safeguard and protect the interests of Trust tenants. At its core, this means ensuring Trust remains financially viable and meets all the requirements of our regulators. However, as Rona has alluded to in her earlier presentation, it is also vitally important that we move Trust on, ensuring we are fit to meet the changing needs of our customers and indeed the challenging working environment in an increasingly digital age, of which the way we do this is an example. Growth is also a fundamental part of our strategy, and we are growing through partnerships, acquisitions, and building new homes. I look forward to sharing some of these successes with you in my report today. Rona mentioned the importance of our people. I would like to say that I am extremely grateful for the continued service of our highly skilled and ambitious board and leadership team of Trust, and indeed all of the staff of Trust, who have taken the organisation from strength to strength and sustained a resilient business against a very challenging backdrop. Despite the adverse economic environment, turnover increased and the organisation was able to deliver a surplus of 0.8 million before pension loss and meet bank covenants, the latter being very important, of course. As Trust is a not-for-profit charity, our annual surplus remains an investment for Trust properties, services and customers. Move on to investment in our homes. Our core purpose is to invest in our homes and hopefully increase the number of homes as well, so that we continue to meet national standards and, very importantly, the needs of our existing and future customers. We made a significant capitalised investment of 4.5 million in our homes last year, and that figure doesn't take into account the cost of repairs. We installed in 98 new kitchens, 142 new bathrooms, 105 boiler upgrades, and we also upgraded electrics for safety and so on, including 198 new fuse boxes. 7 fire alarms and communal electrical lighting upgrades were also fixed, and 225 medical adaptations to properties to make those tenants who need such things life easier. I've got images of some of the improvements, I gather. There they go. Kitchen refit showing the before and the after. And I think there's another, yes, a bathroom refit before and after. In terms of new build homes, we delivered 46 new social rented and energy efficient homes in the centre of Govan in Glasgow. The 9 million new build project was delivered in partnership with Glasgow City Council and CCG Scotland Limited, with our new customers moving into the platted developments on Langlands Road in April 2024. Trust can only do these sorts of things with the help of local government and so on. We wouldn't be able to do it if we were simply on our own. In addition, planning permission was granted in February 2024 to build 48 new social rented and energy efficient homes in Bells Hill, which is in North Lanarkshire. The homes, a mix of houses and cottage flats, were built in partnership with North Lanarkshire Council, as I just said, Scottish Government and Wilson Developments Scotland Limited. The 9.3 million project will transform a derelict site close to the town centres and will enhance housing choices in Bells Hill, where there are currently more than 1,600 households on the waiting lists for social rented housing of this type. I imagine most of you have been reading about the homelessness crisis and various councils declaring a crisis. Trust is a helper in trying to solve that very difficult problem. We also retrofitted properties to make them more modern, comfortable, whatever, and we had our first multi-measure retrofit project of existing homes at Shully Shadder Bay in Portree on the Isle of Skye in July 2023. Union Technical were our contractor partner on the energy efficient upgrades of 17 homes, paid for predominantly via ECO4 grant funding, and which included the installation of new cavity wall insulation, solar PV and battery storage systems, air source heat pumps and ventilation upgrades to improve thermal efficiency and help customers make substantial savings on their energy bills. The overall value of the works was 536,000, of which included a financial contribution of 137,000 from Trust. This is just the first one. Our second one is on the Isle of Arran, due to complete later this month. It's a phase approach, and this current phase sees 59 of our homes benefit from a range of energy efficiency improvements, also including cavity wall insulation, underfloor insulation, solar PV and battery storage systems, air source heat pumps and ventilation upgrades dependent on recommended measures. The project started in June and has an overall value of almost 1.1 million, with Trust contributing just 135,000 of private finance. Our contractor, Green Home Systems and battery storage supplier, Duracell, I didn't know they got involved in that sort of thing, but there you go. I'm more used to seeing them in Tesco with small batteries that go in my various electronic things, have collectively provided a community benefit fund of 18,000 from the contract. And this is something we like to do, give benefits to the community when we were doing things like this, which is to be distributed directly to our Trust Hardship Fund. These projects contribute an important improvement in the EPC rating of our homes, i.e. the energy efficiency, as they now all move up to be certified as EPC Band B, with their customers already reporting significant energy bill savings. Further ECO4, jargon, funded projects are being planned currently, including another phase in Arran with Green Home Systems, which will provide energy efficiency upgrades to 150 homes on the island. Mentioned that we also do acquisitions, and it's an important part of our strategy in Trust. Acquisitions, apart from bringing people into the Trust family and therefore all the more marvellous service we give to people, at least we hope we do, it reduces, it means our overheads, which are inevitable, are spread over a wider base and therefore helps keep rents lower than they would otherwise be. So that's an important part of our strategy. In the last 5 years, we've grown from 2,500 homes to just under 4,000 now. 2023-24, we had the opportunity to acquire more homes to add to our stock. At the end of March 2024, we acquired 101 homes from an English-based housing association, Methodist Homes, and that secured a future for 107 customers. We brought in 6 new employees for these homes, and they're located across East Kilbride, Edinburgh and Glasgow. The 3.8 million acquisition was funded 50% by the Scottish Government, the City of Edinburgh Council and Glasgow City Council as part of a national acquisition plan to increase the supply of affordable housing across Scotland. That's part of the Government and Council's attempt to solve the homelessness crisis. If I might now turn to board changes and so on. Following September 2023 AGM, Laura Bonatici was elected as a new board member. In line with section 37.1 of our governing rules, Sharon Elston also joined the board as an appointed member. Within the financial year of 2023, Karen Cox stepped down from the board after serving for 7 years. We are very grateful to Karen for her contribution to Trust over that period, and I can attest to that personally. More recently, in July of this year, Mary Strathern ceased to be our company secretary, on leaving Trust after 10 years to take up another opportunity in a different sector. Our huge thanks to Mary, who did such a sterling job as our company secretary, valued by the board members every bit as much as she was highly regarded by our colleagues across the organisation. And so we look to the future. Trust has achieved a significant amount this past year and in past years also. With a clear purpose, strong foundations, great culture. My thanks to all who have been part of that. I'll now pass you over to our Finance Director, Zoe, to take you through the financial numbers and so on that were issued with the board pack.
Thank you, Noble. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to take you through the financial numbers as Noble said. So just as a reminder, the Trust is a charity. We provide both social housing and care and support services across the length and breadth of Scotland. We generate most of our income from social rents and also from local authorities for those care and support services. Trust is a not-for-profit organisation, which means we have no shareholders. It means we pay no dividends, which means we can reinvest all of our surplus back into our tenants' homes. We're governed by a very experienced board who are committed, who have our tenants' interests at heart at all times. And in terms of our financial performance for 23-24, it was yet again another challenging year financially. We continue to be impacted by the cost of living crisis, and the year was shaped once again by high inflation and high interest rates, both of which continue to drive up our operating costs. However, despite those challenges, through sound financial management, we did deliver a small surplus, which was invested into homes, as well as some of our previous reserves. And importantly, as Noble said earlier, we satisfied all of our bank loan covenants. Our turnover for the year was £41 million. That increased from 36.4 million in the previous year. We generated a surplus before adjustment for pension loss of 0.8 million. We invested 9.7 million in existing homes. So that included both capital investment that Noble discussed earlier, plus all of our repairs and maintenance costs. At the end of March 2024, our housing stock at cost value was 274 million. We had net debt, which is our loans less our cash, of 45 million, which equated to £11.6 thousand per home. I would now like to hand over to Andy Shaw, our audit partner of Anderson Brown.
Thank you, Zoe. So as Zoe says, I'm the audit partner on the external audit of the association. So this was AAB's third year as your auditor, and the audit process went well, with good collaboration from the finance team and upfront discussion on key judgments and estimates used in pulling together the financial statements. We have issued an unqualified audit opinion on the financial statements, having concluded satisfactorily on all the risk areas identified. An unqualified audit opinion means that we consider the financial statements to be free from material misstatement, that we concur that the association is a going concern, and that the financial statements are prepared in line with the Scottish Housing Regulator's requirements. So we're required to consider significant risks in any audit, and for the association we consider those risks to be management overriding the control environment, and that the pension scheme assumptions are not appropriate to derive the correct pension scheme liability. Following our testing, we have identified no exceptions in either of those areas. Other areas of focus in the audit are in respect of income recognition and property development expenditure, and again, no exceptions were identified during the audit. There were no significant control issues identified, and I'd like to thank Zoe and her team for their help during the audit. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. As you've just heard, Anderson Brown have been our auditors now for 3 years, and so we now move on to appointment of them for the next year. So I seek the reappointment of and Anderson Brown to complete the audit of 2024-25. Do I have, and also I should probably mention Andy is continuing as the responsible partner. So can I ask for a proposer of that motion?
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
I'll propose that.
Oh, yeah, thank you, that's great.
And a seconder, please.
That's brilliant, thank you, David.
Right, we now move on to any other business and questions that panel would have received, because I said we've had some submitted by people. Sorry. This is why I always insist the company secretary sits next to you, so that you can't see this, but I get a kick on my ankles whenever I stray off what I should be doing. And this is one of those times. I shall nurse the bruise later. Annette.
Thank you, Chair. So looking back to last year, there were 12 board members at our last AGM. One board member decided to retire throughout the course of the year, and we have 4 board members that are required to retire as stated by our rules. The 4 board members due to retire are Dr Norval Bryson, Mary Niven, Paul McFarlane and Stephen McGowan. All 4 board members have indicated they would like to stand for re-election, and as the number of members is less than or equal to the number of vacancies on the board, they will be elected without the need for a vote. Thank you, Chair.
And now it is any other business. As I said earlier, we've got some pre-submitted questions by members who couldn't attend this AGM, and the panel will address these first, and then open up for any further questions that attendees may have. Annette, can I ask you to run through the questions and,
yes, so
the team to provide hopefully the answers?
No problem at all, thank you. So the first question we've received is from a member at the Duns development who is querying the average repair times quoted in the minutes from the 2023 AGM. We state that the repairs average between 3.7 hours for emergency repairs and 5 to 6 days for non-urgent repairs. However, this member has been waiting over 2 years for their drains to be fixed, and they've never been asked if they were happy with any of the repairs that have been carried out. Now, as we've got Ian here, would you like to take that question, Ian?
Yeah, thanks, Annette. Hi, everybody. Over the last 2 years, there's been 2 repairs works orders raised and completed for an intermittent odour issue within the drains of one customer's property at a Duns development, and some neighbours have also been affected by a similar issue. Despite these work orders being completed, unfortunately, it doesn't appear to have resolved the intermittent issue. Since this question was submitted, our reactive repairs and maintenance inspector has contacted and spoken to the affected customer and is arranging for a CCTV survey to be undertaken to the drain in the coming weeks to further investigate the extent of the intermittent issue.
Thanks, Ian, that's great. The next one that we've received is more of a comment rather than a question. And it's from a member in Arran who's been in touch to advise us that despite there being a change of service and reduction in coordinator hours in the retirement housing developments in Arran, Warden runs it as if it were still a sheltered development as much as she can. Jenny, is there anything that you'd like to add to that comment or feedback that we've had?
Yeah, thanks, Annette. It's positive to hear that the tenants in our retirement housing developments in Arran still feel that they're receiving a valued service, even though they have experienced a change in that, which was a reduction in hours. And we do recognise that it is the effort of the local coordinator that makes the biggest difference in this and to them.
That's great. Thanks, Jenny. So the next 3 questions, I think, are all from the same person, a member that's in the Wishaw area. So the first one is about the winter fuel payments being cancelled, and they're wondering if that will be factored into the new rent proposals, as a lot of our tenants are older. Zoe, would you like to answer that one for us? Thanks. Thanks, Annette. So yeah, the winter fuel payment is a government-funded payment, which has not been cancelled in full. However, from 24-25, it will be means tested. What that means is, for our customers, any customers receiving pension credit or indeed any other means tested benefits, we expect to continue to still receive that payment, which I think will be welcome and good news for the majority of our tenants. Just in terms of setting rents, obviously customer affordability is absolutely a key consideration for every rent consultation and will continue to be so.
Great, thank you, Zoe. Now the next question is again for Zoe, I think, from our member in Wishaw. They've said trust has to be more transparent on staff wages when new rent proposals are being considered, as we, the tenants, pay them. Is there anything that you'd like to comment on this?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of our salaries, so we do regularly benchmark all of our salaries. We use a sector-wide not-for-profit salary benchmarking service, which is completely external. We also benchmark to others more informally throughout the sector. And we do that to ensure that we attract and retain a capable and motivated workforce, without which we wouldn't be able to provide the very best service that we do for our customers. Further, also, it's worth saying the Scottish Government, who obviously indirectly fund through all the local authorities the care and support service, do set minimum rates of pay for adult care and support workers. Now that is set currently at least the real living wage, and Trust are very proud to support payment of at least the real living wage to our full workforce.
Okay, thanks, Zoe. Now, our final question that we received in advance of the AGM is also from our member in Wishaw, and they have asked, did Trust bite off more than it could chew with taking on Wishaw and District stock, as the stock needs more work than Trust thought? I guess, Ian, it's over to you, this one.
Thanks again, Annette. The former Wishaw and District Housing Association stock is in good condition. It also has very high levels of Scottish housing quality standard compliance. Further, the SHQS quality compliance of the former Wishaw and District stock has been validated in a recent stock condition survey, which has been instructed across all of Trust stock during the most recent summer.
Okay, thanks. So that's the final question that we've answered. I don't know if anybody has any questions from the floor. If you do, you can raise a hand physically or digitally. Don't think we do have any questions today. I'll pass back to the chair. Thanks.
Thanks, Annette. Thank you all for attending the AGM. That's the business is now complete. I hope, as I said at the start, that you found it useful, and God willing, we'll see each other next year. Thank you. Declare the AGM formally closed.
Thank you.